Okay, so Corelli's Trio Sonata. Background. Corelli was one of the most influential composers of the late Baroque period. This sonata is a sonata de chiesa, meaning church sonata, meaning it was intended to be played in a church or a sacred concert. This trio sonata was composed in 1689 when Corelli was employed by Cardinal Panfili. Okay, so resources and handling. Okay, so firstly, this trio sonata requires 4 performers. Violins 1 to 2, the violone, and organ, which is guided by figured bass. The first and second violins are broadly equal partners and share a similar tessitura. Violin 1 covers 2 octaves in a semitone, and violin 2 covers 14th. The parts are not difficult to play. They only venture beyond first position in bars 11 to 13 and bar 34. They also do not use the bottom G string, except for the penultimate note in violin 1. Corelli's string writing is idiomatic. It is conceived in terms of the instruments it's written for, which is one of the reasons Corelli was so popular at the time. Okay, so form and structure. This movement is in the style of a jig and is in binary form, with each section being repeated. Because the movement is broadly monothematic, the structure is defined by the repeat marks and tonality. The A section, which is bar 1 to 19, starts in D major and modulates to A major, which is the dominant. And then the B section, which is bar 20 to 43, begins at the dominant with the same melodic material, but inverted, and modulates through various related keys before returning to the tonic at the end. Okay, so bar 41 to 43 could be regarded as a cadetta. Now, texture. The texture is 3-part imitative counterpoint. Each of the 3 voices has its own independent melodic line, and the organ improvises the inner harmonic filling. The opening is in a fugal style, with violin 1 stating the subject, violin 2 providing the answer in the dominant, and the violone joining in bar 6 with a further entry of the subject. The second section begins with a free inversion of the fugal subject. The imitative violin 2 and bass parts now enter only a bar apart, forming a fugal texture known as stretto. Corelli uses a number of devices in his contrapuntal texture. For example, bar 1 to 2 is monophonic. There are 2 parts in parallel thirds in bar 3. In bars 8 to 9, in violin 2 and violin, there are also parallel tenths. There is stretto imitation in bars 11 to 13, with the parts entering in quick succession. There is an inverted pedal in the violins in bars 15 to 17. Okay, so tonality. If you just have a look at this table, you can see that bars 1 to 2, the subject is in D major, which is the tonic, and then 3 to 4, the answer in A major, the dominant. 5 to 11, we have this inversion of the subject in the upper part, with the third entry of the subject in bar 6, starting in the tonic and modulating to the dominant, and then a perfect cadence in the dominant, bar 10 to 11. And then 11 to 19, further entries in A major, and then 20 to 22, entries on the dominant, and then 23 to 28, entries on the tonic modulating to the relative minor, which is B minor. Then 28 to 32, a 4-bar contrasting section in E minor, subdominant to the relative minor. Then 32 to 41, imitative entries of a modified subject passing through A, D, and G majors before returning to the tonic. Then 41 to 43, a short cadetta phase emphasizing the tonic key. And now harmony. Corelli's harmony is entirely diatonic, with all the accidentals relating to the changes of key. The harmony is largely consonant and uses mostly root position and first inversion chords. Dissonance occurs through carefully prepared suspensions. For example, there is a 7-6 suspension in bar 10 and a 4-3 suspension in bar 40. And there's a double suspension of 9-8 and 7-6 simultaneously in bar 29 to 30. The harmony is functional. It defines the keys chiefly through the use of perfect cadences. Cadences are used to help clarify the tonality of the binary structure. The frequent perfect cadences define the phrase structure as shown in bar 4, bars 10 to 11, and 18 to 19. They also define the changes of key, such as B minor modulation in bars 27 to 28, and change to E minor in bars 31 to 32. The strongly functional harmony is also evident in the cycle of fifths from bars 32 to 35, and the pedal points, which herald the ends of sections, such as in bar 15 to 18 and 39 to 40. Okay, so now melody. This movement is monothematic. All melodic invention derives from the opening 3-note motif based on a rising third. Therefore, almost all the melody is based on the interval of a third and stepwise movement. Occasionally, an octave leap, such as in the first violins in bar 7, will break the chain of characteristic descending sequences. And Corelli develops the simple opening motif in a number of ways. Firstly, there is a rising sequence with adding passing notes in the second half of bar 1, for example. There is an inversion of it in bar 5. In bar 8 to 10, in the second violin and violon, there is a falling one-bar sequence of embellishments, with the embellishments removed. In the entries starting in bar 32, there's an addition of an anacrusis to the motif. Now, rhythm and meter. This movement is written in the style of a jig, which is a lively dance form in compound duple time. The strongly rhythmical character of the music is enhanced by the phrasing and dotted crotchet beats in the opening subject, in bars 1 to 2 and the cadence points, such as bar 2 and 4. To add interest and buoyancy to the movement, Corelli uses a number of devices. For example, the violone entry in bar 6 starts halfway through the bar. All the subsequent entries, such as bars 11 to 12 and 21 to 22, are at 1 bar's distance. For example, the violone entry in bar 6 starts halfway through the bar. All the subsequent entries, such as bar 11 to 12 and 21 to 22, are at 1 bar's distance. There is syncopation in the first violin in bars 26 to 27. Bar 26 gives a cross rhythm where the tie across the middle of the bar results in the first violin sounding as though it's in 3-4 with the lower part remaining in 6-8. There are also hemiolas in bars 27 and 31, with the harmony changing on the first, third, and fifth quavers of the bar, giving a feel of 3-4 time.